Oh, I'm gonna
Please don't die. We're a minute in. You can't die. I need your brain. I have zero thoughts. This is not in this relationship.
I'm here.
Hello.
Oh. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Bailey. That's fair. I'm relying on Amy to remember.
I have it. I have it all. I have it all up here. I've got it all. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're safe with me.
I love that look of concern that just passed you. Danielle will be joining us. She's just running a few. She'll probably be 2 or 3 minutes. So we thought we'd say hello.
Come in and chat a little bit and say hi and see how everyone's doing. Yeah, there was a lot going on in this book, so I totally get that, Bailey.
Yeah. Abby Lynn, it was a reread for me, but I'm surprised how much I forgot between now and 2020. 2021 was a long time ago in the grand scheme of life at the moment.
Yeah, the world has been an interesting place for the last 3 or 4 years, right? The last 3 or 4 years that are actually 10 years long.
Yeah, 100%. It's like we've lived through a couple of decades in just the past 3 years.
Seriously. It's so odd, but it's true. It's true. I feel like we should have got those years back for free. Like, not aged.
I think so. No.
Yeah, I think we should have got those years back. I really feel that. I don't like that we kept aging during that time. It just doesn't seem right.
No. I think, like, I was in a really privileged position, so I wouldn't change it because I've had so much positive come from it, but I know that not everyone has, so I can acknowledge that, like, people would totally 100% just wipe it and start fresh.
Yeah.
But I'm personally like, I could relive, just not add the age.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I could use those years. Like, I could use those back.
It's like, I'm turning 29 in a week. Oh, a week! Like,
is that already? I'm so behind on like paying attention to that stuff right now.
I forgot.
I'm behind on videos. I'm behind on everything. I'm behind on everything. My life is wild.
Your life is wild. You're not behind. You're just taking your time to get there.
Thank you. I like that.
Like, if we celebrate my birthday like 2 months after the fact, that's fine. That's when you get
like
to
that.
I
like that. I'm going to celebrate you all year round. This is your birthday year.
Oh, we have a Danielle. Hello.
Yay!
I'm here.
Hi. Oh, hello.
Hi, Alicia. We were just saying hi and just chatting.
Okay.
Hello. This was my first time reading it, but I feel like it's been on my TBR since 2021.
Mm. I'm sure that a lot of people have been wanting to or sitting on it for a while too. It's a big book. It's a big series.
And this is a small one.
Yeah, how come yours is so small?
Yours is much smaller.
Is it?
Yeah, let me compare.
Oh, it's an optical illusion.
Look how big mine is.
But ours are the same.
The screen.
How tall's yours?
It just looks
like. Is it I've never met you to know the size of your head in comparison.
Well, let me get
it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Or
okay, can do.
This one is 8 inches high.
Oh God,
that's what I would have guessed mine was. I don't have a ruler, but I would have guessed
one in inches. I'm Australian.
I got centimeters. Hold on. It's 20.5 centimeters.
20.5 centimeters.
Tall.
Mine's 19 and a half.
Well, and how's yours smaller? Mine's bigger than yours.
I don't understand.
What kind of magic is this? Maybe your pages are thinner.
Did you crack the spine?
No.
Oh.
It's fluffy.
I didn't. Mine has 0 flop.
Oh, mine's
my binding's tighter, I reckon.
I'm wondering if your binding is tighter and maybe you have thinner paper.
Probably. It is quite thin.
Thin gauge, yeah.
Mine also has like this entire like bonus section in the back with like
that's true.
Interview and extras and stuff.
And then how big is your writing?
Let's go chapter 25. Chapter 25. Nope, too far. What page? Actually, what page is it on for you?
207. But that's not going to be the same for you.
Yeah, no, it is.
Really?
My margins must be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, they look identical.
Interesting.
You're right, they do. That's so weird. What is this magic?
What is that
Magic.
How do you measure stuff? Just by the side of my head.
I mean, currently my head is about 8.5 inches.
Yeah, there you go. It's mine. It's the thing. There's a
Or 20.5 centimeters. I'm having way too much fun today. Already.
Yes.
Hi, Danielle.
I expect nothing less.
Yeah. We're chaos demons. I love it.
I literally finished and had 30 minutes left until the live show. So that's how close I was cutting it.
I was seeing your updates as I was like driving, or like right out when I got off work, and then I was driving home, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so close, but is she gonna make it? Because so much happens at the end, so I'm like, oh my gosh, it would be really rough if she didn't.
Yeah, I did it.
So proud. You did amazing. This has been on my TBR forever as well. Dropping in to say hi. Can't stay to chat.
Oh no.
Okay. What's a full star? Very nice. We do have discussion points from Leanna in the Discord as well. So
yes. Yeah.
We know.
See what.
Taro said, same Amber, I was so intimidated by it, so I wouldn't actually pick it up. Yeah. But then we'll get into it more, but I found it very readable. I don't feel like it was that hard to get into, even though it is a little bit of a chunky beast.
And there was a lot going on, but the writing was easy to read. Like that.
Yeah.
Easy.
Hello. Hey, Crystal. And it just went down to perfect timing. Very nice.
She knew exactly what time to go down.
She knew that Mama needed time.
Jade City talk.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Some people did have, I noticed some people did have an issue like at the beginning with just kind of the between chapters and just kind of like the setting and perspective change, you know?
Yeah.
I never really noticed that personally, but I definitely felt for those that it was, like kind of throwing them off.
I can't even remember the audiobook and if it shifted. I feel like
did it?
Remember. I don't know. I was just listening. I was so enthralled I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I was very interested in seeing people say that too, Danielle, because I didn't have that experience, but like it's good to know that was a bit difficult at times, that shift in perspective. But I felt like for me, I was a little nervous. Everybody's like, "I'm taking all the names down. I'm writing all these things and making sure."
I
and
didn't
I'm like,
do that.
I appreciated that so much.
But I was like, I didn't do it, but I was worried that it would be that complicated, and there was a lot to keep in my head. But I didn't get lost. That was what I was afraid of.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I am also excited for the next one.
Based off the noises that Ruby has made, I'm nervous.
Oh, I'm shit scared. I'm so petrified.
And now that we know what Fonda Lee the length she'll go to for her characters.
Oh, jeez.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Crystal finished it a few days ago and still feel like I'll forget it. Absolutely.
Easy to do.
Because there were so many bits. Like, I don't think many of the crucial things, like if we're reading them relatively closely together, will be fine. But yeah, some of the, like, when we start Jade War, I'll probably be like, who is this motherfucker again?
Yeah, I think some of the like
and then it's Hilo.
Political people could be easy to
like all the council people and all of that,
yeah.
I'll be like,
Agreed.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I can see that.
At least we can go back and reference.
Yes, and we have all our chapter comments and stuff like that. Like that, I have gone back and looked at those before when I was trying to remind myself of things. Yeah. Yeah.
January feels like a decade on its own.
January was so weird. I felt like the first like 2/3 just like stretched on for an eternity, and then right at the end of the month, like all the days just went like, where'd they go? Oh, we're done. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, it's been a weird month for me, especially. It's been a lot going on.
Same.
And let me tell you, substitute teaching.
It's a whole other game.
It's an interesting beast.
Yeah.
Your hair looks nice.
Yeah.
Your little highlights.
Finally got it done after like a year and a half. So, that's about as often as I get my hair done.
That's okay.
Crystal is also behind on life, so we're all good. We're all good.
Everything.
It's fine.
But just haven't got there yet.
Yeah. Taking it at the pace you need to take it at.
Yeah. And I'm trying to I'm trying to give myself a break because
100%.
it has been a bit much.
Yeah.
You know?
It's been hectic.
Yeah.
So many changes.
And then we threw Squash That series into it. Love you, Bailey.
I know.
Love you, Bailey.
That is, thanks, Bailey. Like that has been, and I honestly got so slumpy the last week and a half. I didn't contribute hardly anything at all into that because I was like, I had read like 15 books in the first part of January, like the first a little over a half, and then all of a sudden I'm like,
I'm done.
I mean, some of them are really short books, but it still was a lot of reading, and I'm just like, I can't. I'm finally back in my groove now, but it was a lot. It was a lot. And I was winning for quite a while, too. So I was like, I have to focus on this because I'm actually winning.
And then you just had me who like lost their first one. And I was just like, yeah, cool. But I'm just eating myself out of existence.
January is a weird month, I think. Sometimes it goes really well and sometimes you just, like first half I was totally on it and then I just burnt myself out big time.
Like, I literally burnt myself out in the qualifier.
Yep. Okay.
I read 9 books in January.
That's not a lot for you at all. Like, not at all.
Considering I've read 4 books in February.
And it's just the second. So you needed a bit of a
reset. Yeah. But I'm so excited. It was chaotic like the past 2 days, but it's been great. And I haven't burnt myself out. Like, I've read the equivalency of how much I read trying to read the qualifier. But I broke it up over 4 books instead of 1 giant book. She learned from her mistakes.
Yeah, that can be really hard too.
Thank you.
Happy early birthday. Happy early.
I'll be here, but have visitors, so I may have to rewatch later. Love this and went right on to books. That's fair.
Nice.
That's fair.
And all the chapters are up, so go chat in there. I did it for Ruby because she wanted to talk about it. So I don't know if she's used them, but I set it up for her.
Oh.
Now anyone can, so that's all good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I might start Jade War in February because it took me so long to, Squash That series really was the problem. Like, as far as like,
I mean, we didn't even really start it until like week 3, and that was only because we were like, we have to start this, or it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I think when I started reading, because I had a few books that weren't continuations in series, The Winter Duke. So I gave up on the 13th of January on Squash That series. I was just like, nah, I just need to read the things I needed to read. Why is my camera out of focus? Hello, there we go. And yeah, from there I was just like, fuck it, let's just do the things. But I was like, I feel bad, but also I just can't. She got no spoons.
I mean, that is the reality, you know? And that's why the last week and a half I've just kind of not contributing much to Squash It. So I felt bad for Natalie, but she had already, that round was already decided before I even, I hadn't even started my next vlog video or anything, and it was like, it's over. It's like, oh. And I was really excited about the game board, but I had no energy to work on that last week, so, yeah.
No.
No.
I've learned that I don't do competitive-based readathons well. If you need me to pit up against myself, sure, can do. Will shit talk myself to the nth degree. If you need me to shit talk other people, I can't do it.
Yeah, you're way nicer than, like, when I was thinking about, not saying that I didn't think you were nice. I know you're nice, but like, it's like a suffer-a-thon. I was the meanest person.
I know, it was hilarious.
So I was like, why are you so nice, Paige? Like, she's like, I hope they're not upset. And I'm like, it's suffer-a-thon. If they're upset, they're in the wrong readathon.
Yeah. And I think Ren and Erin were both going through shit. And so they had sort of just like, they pitched in where they could. But we were just like the main, well, Erin was
like,
doing all the posts and stuff, but we were the most chaos. Yeah. And then I was just like trying to mitigate if anyone was like, Amy's being mean. And I'm like, yep, that's the point here. Have a little treat.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I thought so too. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. I'm about chaos. I think I've learned the chaos and my own personal suffering rather than
other people suffering. And apparently I'm sadistic.
Have you considered like a chaos-a-thon?
Ooh.
That was the intention of suffering.
Oh, okay. It just wasn't called that.
Yeah, it just ended up a little bit
actual suffering. Real suffering. But they loved it. Everybody enjoyed it. They did.
Loved it.
How many people actually complained about it, Paige?
One, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good then, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't even a bad thing. It was just I have to step away from this because I don't have.
Which I understand.
Yeah, and I was just like, full respect. Like, here's where the trapdoor is to get out of the hotel if you need it.
Yeah, because sometimes it's too much, and well, I mean, like, I'm loving the tournament, but it got to be too much this last week and a half, and like, I knew going into this that Bailey has some really competitive people that joined this readathon, like super competitive, and I could never keep up. But I'm a competitive person, so I got really excited, and I was like, you know.
Look at me go. And then you had us being like, you can do it, Amy. And you're like, I don't know if I can, but I'm gonna try.
I put my effort into that. I really put my effort into that. So I feel good about it. Until I stopped putting effort into it.
And I appreciate Squash That Series because I can usually just be a background participant. Like, I don't have to, not with it every time. It's not always competitive, or I can just do the prompts of my own accord and just not submit. So I was like, I can do a tournament, and then I've like started, I'm like, this was a mistake. I'm not competitive enough for this, and I'm slumping, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life right now. But it was good.
Yeah, it was fun. And I'm still doing it. I mean, now I'm working on a book 4 for the traffic light round. So at least I'm working on a book that's already pretty high up there.
I guess I can submit Jade City now.
Yeah, I did too. Like, my 1 point that I've submitted so far for this round.
That's funny. Let's jump back up. I was surprised at how easy it was to get into. I felt silly for putting it off. There are books that just are like that. You're like thinking that it's going to be this mountain, and then you dive in and you're like, this is actually refreshing. Right. Excellent. I'm glad this is the outcome.
Yeah. And then it feels good that you've picked it up.
When Bailey first read Jade City, they loved it so much that they said they would read it again. And when they could read the whole trilogy closer together, which they ended up doing in 2023. Very nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Alicia, I thought it was going to be complicated too, but I found it really easy to read and remember the characters, but I will see if I remember anything for the next book. Yeah.
Luckily, we are reading it in March, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alicia is terrified for the next books and feel like they're about to be heartbroken. You and me both.
Yeah, I've heard on Jade Legacy people just sob.
I'm so excited.
I mean, I did have tears a couple of times in this one. So
I didn't cry. I definitely went, oh, wait, what? But there was no like, eh.
I mean, I didn't sound like that when I cried.
Oh, is that not how you're supposed to sound when you cry? No. Oh, Heather, I've been crying wrong my entire life.
No, you cry perfectly.
I'm sorry, but I would have pictured that would have been you going, oh, no.
I was teaching kids about yesterday. We were talking about something, and we were talking about the word sob, and all the kids were, "What's the word sob? What's the word sob?" I'm like, sobbing is when you're crying, but it's big, like it's like we're showing all the kids how to sob. That made me think about that. So I was just teaching them how to sob. Yeah.
So my co-worker's littlest one started kindy yesterday.
Oh.
So she was very emotional. She did well. She dad cried, mum didn't.
That's cute.
As predicted. But mum definitely got teary. But she was saying that the night before, the little girl was saying that she was nervous to go to school because she didn't know how she was going to be taught. Like she kept going, I can't be taught. I don't know how to learn. Mm-hmm. And like, I've never thought of it as such an abstract concept of you actually have to teach kids that they are learning. That is a concept that you have to teach them. And it is an abstract concept. And it was just so fascinating. And
it's interesting how kids come up with that, when they think about that themselves.
Do you know what convinced her that she was going to be okay?
What?
She said to her, no, it's okay. You're going to get learned. And the little girl went, okay, cool. I was like, did you actually say learned it? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, you know what? If it helps, that it doesn't matter. She'll figure it out eventually. I was like, it's like woke, but smart.
Yeah, exactly.
You get learned.
You get learned. Yeah, kindergarten is hard. It's a different demon. I mean, they're so cute, but it is. I mean, even compared to first grade, kindergarten versus first grade, completely different. Like, oh my goodness, I've had a lot of learning in my last couple of weeks. You've become learned. I've been so learned, and it's been rough.
Have you mostly been on kindy for the past little bit, or has it fluctuated?
I've had 3.5 days of kindergarten. I had first grade, and then I had second grade. I love second grade. Second grade for subbing is perfection. Yeah. Some reason they're just so excited that you're a different person in their class, whereas kindergarten is very freaked out by you being a different person. And first grade, some of the kids are okay with it. The first graders I had were great. We just had a couple of rough moments at the end of the day. But second grade, they are just... And all my teacher moves work, because in kindergarten, all my 5th grade teacher moves, all the teacher moves I've learned that I've used for classroom management, they don't work with kindergartners. So like, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm in a class where I don't know how to manage these kids at all. Like, it doesn't work the same way. And all the kids are different. And I've had a lot of kindergarten in the last couple of weeks. just like, it's like, how come all of a sudden this is all I'm teaching?
They don't know routine. They don't know the system and setup. They don't know anything, because that's why they're in kindy, to learn.
Yeah.
A lot of them might not have gone to preschool as well, so coming into a completely new environment. Sure, they've been, because you guys are halfway through your school year, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Whereas mine's just started.
Just starting.
But that's still new. And then it's a new person. So I'm told to be wary of stranger danger. This is a stranger, so I need to panic right now. And and then, miss, I need to go to the bathroom. That's okay. You can go. I don't know how to go. I need help.
Luckily, all these ones didn't need help, so that they're at that point where because they're not at the beginning. So luckily, didn't have that. But I had one kid who trashed the classroom. He literally took all the Elmer's glue and poured it on the ground by the sink, and then he poured water on that, so it was like a nice little slip and slide. So I was trying to clean all that. I had two other boys that were fighting over there, so I had to go deal with them. And when I went over to deal with them, he was like trying to slide on that slip on the hard surface. I'm like, you're gonna crack your head open. And then I'm trying to call, there's not enough support. They didn't have enough pairs that day, so there was not enough support. And then he was just trash. Like, he was taking everything and dumping it, cutting this, pulling the tape all the way out halfway through the room, running away from me. Like, he was a mess. And it got the rest of the class riled up. Like, not everybody, but, there's a little group of boys
that want to learn, but then you've also got those that are like, oh, he's doing that, so I can do that. And it's like, hell no.
And I had a group of boys where I can manage them if he wasn't in there. When he was in there, he gets them all, let's all run around and go crazy. Or they want to stop him, so they keep trying to stop him or grab the things he's grabbing. I'm like, just leave him alone. Let him do his thing. Like, get away from him. I don't want you to get hurt. And I don't want you fighting with him because you're trying to stop him. Like, stop.
It's not helping the situation.
No.
Yeah. Oh, that is rough.
The good news was that even one of the administrators from the district was there that day. She couldn't even deal with him. So I was like, okay, it's not just me. Nobody could deal with him. So
let me know if you need him to go in for an ADHD diagnosis to get medicated.
I don't know what his deal is. I know that he's very smart. And some of the times when he was making a mess, he's like, well, that's okay, because you need something to do today. I don't want you to be bored. And I'm like, he knew exactly what he was doing. Huh?
Older siblings?
I don't think so. But I know he has stuff going on at home. Or at least I don't know what it is. I just have heard that so I'm like, okay, there's stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I've never had a kid that out of control. That doesn't have a one-on-one pair with them, usually yeah. So that was my second. So I had to have half a day in kindergarten, which went smoothly because the teacher is and it was half a day. And then that was my first full day doing kindergarten, and it was such a disaster. That was wild. Anyways, we're here to talk about Jade City. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
Crystal had asked about the schedule, and then
March.
Alicia responded for March, and then May is Jade Legacy.
Is March on my channel or Danielle's channel? I can never remember.
Probably mine.
I can't remember the order.
I can't either.
Because we did your channel in July because I was at your house. That's kind of how I'm
yeah, that makes sense because I think it was May for mine. So okay, good. So in March, book 2, Danielle's channel.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Exciting. Hi, Jean.
Hey, Jean.
Hope you're having a good one. And Alicia said that she feels like second grade is a good medium. They aren't as crazy, but they also know that you're still an adult and not to mess with you.
Agreed. Because the older kids, I like the older kids. I like teaching older kids, but for subbing, they test you. So.
I believe in you, though. You have those days, but you grow.
Today was a great day, so.
Yay!
Yeah. So.
That's awesome.
And despite my issues with those kindergartners or my difficulties with the kindergartners, and the first grade went so well, except for the very end of the day, that school, people at that school are really liking me. So I'm like, okay, getting more jobs from getting my name around so people know me.
Yeah, because you're fabulous. But yeah, that's so exciting. I hope that it's, they'll get into the routine and they'll, figure it out. But
yeah, or I'll learn more. Yes, let's talk about Jade City.
What are our thoughts?
8.5 inches. Okay, ratings. I'm giving it a 4.25 stars. It was going to be a 4 until the ending, and the ending definitely bumped it. This is one of those books where I think on a reread I will like it more. Not that I didn't like it. I loved it. It was 4.25 stars. Still incredible. But the pacing for me was, there were times when it dragged a little bit. Could have been that I was slumpy. So that's why I think, especially after reading the next 2 books in the series and loving them, I think that this will be a book that I probably will love even more on a reread. That's my quick thoughts.
Danielle?
I was a 3 until the fight scene with Gaunt and Hilo and Andon, and then I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 4.
Nice.
So.
Very nice.
Paige?
Yeah, Paige. You waiting to tell us yours? Bailey 5-star, Abby Lynn 5-star,
Alicia 4, Tara 5. My Alexa just turned on that.
Oh, 3s.
Anyway, one of my favorites.
No.
I gave it 5 stars. For me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, that took me 6 days, which was actually one of the longest times it took me to read, but not one of the it was the second longest if you don't include Full Metal Alchemist, a 3-in-1 edition. The other one was House of Sky and Breath, which I read in 3 days and fully regret that decision. So the fact that I could feel that I was slumpy and I still flew through this, I was constantly engaged. There was anything that took me out of it. And because I do listen to the audiobooks on 3 times speed, I don't ever get the same sense of pacing issues because I'm always just through it. It's always, every book for me is one pace unless there is something drastically wrong with the pacing, in which case I'm like, okay, this is a concern that I'm reading it on 3 times speed and I can feel there's a pacing issue. But I definitely felt that the first half of it was setting up and getting to know the characters. And then when we hit the action, I could feel the shift in pacing. But I was so invested in the characters that I was like, I'm glad that we spent the time to develop it as we did, because otherwise I don't think it would have had as big of an impact emotionally getting to see their transition into the characters that they are now. And that much character growth. How?
Well, and that was a good thing that they're
different person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that was a good thing, though, for me, because I think for me it did take a little bit longer. Not that I didn't like the character, wasn't interested in the characters from the beginning, but it took me a while to really connect to them because there was so much building and we moved all these there were so many different characters to get to know, so many different aspects of the politics to get to know. So it was so much building, which this is one of those books where I'm like, yeah, you do need the other 2 books. It took a lot longer to get to know everything because it's building up for so much more later on. And you need to know all this information, I think. Some of it seemed some of the information at times for me felt a little mundane. Do we really need to know that? But I have a feeling it will all be very relevant later on, or at some point, or it did become relevant later on in here. So that maybe is where my pacing for me was a little
makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. But I get that it's important for the bigger picture. At least I think it's probably important for the bigger picture.
I think one thing that I'm starting to notice with our discussions, especially when we talk about pacing, it's should a book be able to stand on its own, even if those mundane details are going to become relevant later on, though? Because if you are getting these hints and all of these things, and it does affect the pacing of book one, should it affect book one's pacing, even though you do need it later on, because the book itself should be its own entity?
I will say, like, in the instance of where, let's just say you have, and I'm thinking of a book in particular, but let's just say you have a book 3 where suddenly all of those little mundane, like, tedious details just got like super significant, and all those little dots got connected, and you were just so like deeply satisfied. It does really affect your opinion of like book 3. I will say that.
Yeah. And I don't know, there's something that I really enjoy about those little hidden details when I find, like, think of the Realm of the Elderlings, the first miniseries versus the second miniseries. Knowing what I knew from the first one, which I didn't love as much, I liked the first trilogy, but it wasn't my favorite. But then knowing that series, going into the Live Ship Traders, stuff that didn't make as much sense in the first book all of a sudden became very like important aspects in Live Ship Traders, actually really endeared me even more to Live Ship Traders, because I was like, whoa, you know? And so as much as it felt maybe a little tedious in the first book, like I think I'm enjoying the continuing the series even more because of the way it was set up at the beginning. Even though it wasn't my favorite at the beginning, I still loved it. I think I gave every book at least a 4-star, but like I didn't give them 5 stars except Real Assassin. But I think I'm enjoying the rest of the series even more now because of those. So it feels worth it to me. But I see what you're saying though. I don't know.
It's like pretty common for me to give like the first book a lower rating, and then like my ratings will like increase as the series goes on.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because I've spent more time with the characters, so then I'm like more invested, or if it's just because I'm getting more of those answers that maybe that I was wanting, you know, I don't know.
Connecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just find it so interesting seeing like how we feel so passionately about the different first books that we've read in comparison to where we end up going with it. I take Cassie Clare, for instance, like, you know, we managed to fly through those, but there was rarely any necessary details from the first ones. But it's all interconnected, so it is all important.
Yeah, she had a lot of details that were interconnected, but yeah, I mean, this is more subtle, I think. You know, it's kind of like Robin Hobb. Those are more subtle details that you don't think about too much until later on you're like, wait, what? You know, so I think when it's really subtle like that, it's almost like Easter eggs. You're finding these things out, and it may have seemed a little pointless or mundane earlier, but it becomes very important later on, and it helps your enjoyment, I think. It also helps you feel like you're on the in, like you know what's going on, and that actually gives you like a that like gives you like a sense of like, well, I'm in, so I get it and I love it.
Satisfying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bailey said, I think when you start a series, you know that you may need to keep going to get the full satisfaction, even if the individual books need to stand on their own.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting because there's been so many books that have come out recently that have been the first books in series, but they haven't been announced as the first book in a series. And so I'm reading them thinking they're a standalone.
Yeah.
And next minute, we get told that, oh, actually, this is the first book in a series. And so it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I wasn't paying that much attention because I thought it was going to all wrap up.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, the choice of publishing and contracts and not really within the author's control. But for this, I was just like, I see so much. I see it. I think also, like, I'm the same with Alicia of going off vibes. And if I can tell that this is setting me up for success, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, and if I went up vibes, my vibes was a 4-star throughout it until I got to the end, and then I'm like, oh, it's definitely higher, so 4.25. And like I said, I think that after knowing how the story goes, I think rereading this series, I would enjoy this first one even more.
Yeah. I love that they said it. I love the characters, the world building, and I also hated a lot of characters.
There were a lot of gray. There was so much grayness to the characters, which I enjoyed. There was no grayness there. He was just a.
I was ready.
That was at characters we hated. That was.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, he's awful. Oh, so mad at the grandfather. Anyways, we'll get there, I'm sure.
Alicia usually does the same thing with the first book being a lower rating. But I find this interesting for Abby. They always try to read at least the second book in the series in case the first one was just laying a lot down for later ones.
I think that's a pretty good habit. Yeah.
But what if they suffer from second book syndrome? Like, for me, I'm just like, I just gotta keep going.
Yeah.
I can't stop. Because
I mean, oftentimes when I give a book a 3-star, unless I really, well, the 3 stars, like I enjoyed it, and so I will, if it's a series, I'll tend to continue on just because it could get better, it could get better, and I enjoyed myself. Otherwise, I would have given it a 2-star or 1-star. So unless I'm like, oh, I really don't need to read that. Like if I felt like it ended in a way that I'm satisfied with it and I don't need to continue on, then I won't read the second book because I was fine with the first one. So I think it just depends on how much you feel like, okay, that wasn't complete, and I really think that it could get better. Yeah, I don't know. Second book's a good.
I think some of it too depends on and I'm sorry if this was already said, but I think some of it too depends on how bad was the first book, if there was some potential there, it wasn't the best, but okay, I could potentially see this picking up. Yeah.
And how interested are you in the story? Like, if you're not interested in the story, why bother continuing, Because characters can change, but the story usually, there's a trajectory typically. Or a concept, maybe. Sorry, go ahead.
Nah, it's all good. I'm just excited to talk about it. Where do we want to start?
I was going to say, where would you like to start?
Oh.
Fair warning to the chat, we do talk spoilers in this discussion. So, just FYI.
Probably going to get into that pretty quickly, right? Because something big happens pretty early on.
Yes. And even I like this character. This happened halfway, and that, and with Doru and his.
I mean, right from the beginning, we were all contemplating, Shay's return and, her stepping up.
Shay is one of those characters where, Hilo, I wasn't as crazy about at the beginning, but he really developed a lot to the point where I liked him a lot the further and further I got in the story. Even if I got pissed at him at the end, I still like him as a character, and I still can understand some of the bad choices he makes. But I like him more and more as I go along. Shay's one of those ones where I'm kind of like, what are you doing? I still am, I like Andon. I liked him all the way through. Whereas Shay, I'm like, it's like this for me with her, because I'm just like, I don't know, she's not a warm character, and that's fine, but sometimes I just don't agree with her, or I just think, I'm like, why are we taking 2 steps back? Or why, she's so that my feelings for her go like this. Not that I don't like her,
she's
just
flaky.
That she is flaky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her personality's kind of flaky.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm
reading comments.
Screw Dory. That man, everything about him is sketchy.
Oh, he's so gross. He's so gross.
I so uncomfy.
Mm-hmm. He's sleazy.
We're really good at making me uncomfy. I'm like, I know too many men in my life that are reflective of this guy.
Yeah. Does anybody else have a really sick feeling that Shay like decided to spare him his life, so that he could keep the granddad like company. Like, does anybody feel like this might not be a
good idea? I didn't think it would be that bad, though. I mean, I guess I should have. I was so pissed at the granddad, though, because he is like the kind of person who will cut off his nose to spite his face. I'm like, this is your clan. This is something that is so important to you, and you're willing to, like, even if I know he has dementia, but he had, like, when he did this, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you care so much about this clan, and yet you're willing to betray your grandchildren when this is all you've cared about the whole, I just.
Can I help you with that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
And try.
I'm
not going to feel better about it.
About the clan. He only cares about power. He doesn't give a shit about the clan. He only cared the fact that he was in power. And so he's willing to throw anyone under the bus because he doesn't want anyone else to have that power. He was
stuck on his vision of like what him and IU or whatever, I don't know how to say his name, but like his original like partner, friend, whatever, like they had this vision and like he was just stuck on that and like whatever it was going to take to make.
So this idea that Shay and Hilo and Lan all had about the family comes first, the family and the clan comes first, grandfather never had that. He just was all about the power. Well, that's shitty. That's just shitty.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think it was going to change your opinion of the grandpa, but I thought it might just help you conceptualize it a little.
Yeah, I kind of hoped there was, the way, I just kind of hoped there was some honor, but there was no honor. And that's what I was so mad about with him, because I was like, what the hell are you doing?
You hypocritical fuckwit.
Yeah.
I've never seen you this indignant. It's great.
I was so mad at him. I was so mad at him because he was cognizant when he did that. And he did it. Can you imagine doing that to your family? Like, I mean, he's getting them killed. Like, basically, he's setting them up for being murdered. You're setting them up for being murdered, Grandpa. Yeah, I'm even more mad now.
Like, poor Grandpa, he's fading fast. Like, he's just a shell of himself, and he just needs his friend. His friend will surely cheer him up if they can just sit there and just drink their tea and play their chess. And
she's really naive, isn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, I know she is, but like even more so than. Go ahead. Sorry, what you gonna say, Paige?
No. I was just saying, share his Jade.
What?
With Grandpa.
Share his Jade. Yeah, can you imagine? Oh, what a jerk. Bye, Granddad.
Yeah, because he doesn't like Healer. Yeah.
It's your grandson, you jerk.
He has no
compunction.
I'm just sitting here laughing because I have two thoughts going through my head. One, that Grandpa is my grandmother. And two, the plot couldn't have progressed if she was actually switched on.
I mean, it was brilliant. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fascinating, and it was great. I love that happened, but I hated that happened.
Fuck!
I love that Doro got out. I mean, like, I hate it sort of way. Not like I'm glad it happened, but like for the plot progression, I thought that was.
You know what I just realized? We never got to know what was in that letter. Inye's letter, like to Lan, that he stuffed in the.
Oh yeah.
In the desk before he died.
That's right.
Maybe it'll come back up later.
Wait, what letter?
His ex-wife sent him a letter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, we got you need your brain.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember getting resolution to that. I just remember the letter with the vials.
Wow.
Of shine.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that
Lan.
was Andon.
That was But no, because his wife sent him something, and he was like, and it was just right before he died too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he didn't read it.
He wasn't
He
up
didn't
to
read
it because it was kind of like, he was anticipating, having to execute Toru and like he just had all these things on his plate and he's like, I can't deal with this one more thing right now. This communication from her. So he just shoved it in the desk like for later.
What would she
And
have to say?
what would she have to say? The letter comes back up. Okay. Oh, she's saying, I hope it does. Okay.
Yeah. I reckon so.
Yeah.
Huh. Bailey, definitely.
Baby Andon, that makes me like anticipating like
I'm so curious to see how he grows.
Yeah. Were you guys pretty traumatized that he gave his Jade back?
I wasn't surprised.
Nah.
But that moment was traumatizing.
It was hard. Like, it was like kind of disappointing, but then at the same time I was thinking like, in this moment, like he's really trying to do what's best for him. He's trying to save his own life, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, he really does not, based on like the signs that and symptoms that he's experienced so far, and based on all the fear that he has about like his mad witch mother and everything like that, like he legitimately believes that could bring him harm, and that he could become this like Jade crazed like person. And so I mean, he has to make that choice for him. It's like,
and I also think he's not just thinking of himself, he's thinking about everybody around him too, because he sees how much he loved killing, and he's afraid he's going to be out of control. So he's worried for Hilo, he's worried for Shay, he's worried for the Greenbones, he's worried for his brotherhood, because he can see himself bringing all this danger on them. And he's a very smart dude. He's such a sad character, though. This whole time I just feel so sad for him. He's just such a sad character. But I think that he is a very wise character. What's going to happen to him, though?
Like, I really liked it whenever he turned into like a green Power Ranger and like just like,
it's freaking awesome.
Snuffed people's lives right out the inside of them, and like,
I love about the murdering.
Yeah, it was great. I was like, oh, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that anymore. Okay.
Sorry, everyone. I was joking. I mean, kind of, but not really. It's that kind of book,
Oh. It was a roller coaster. I just, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm not emotionally prepared.
That's why I was kind of like, Hilo, you saw his reaction the night before when he had dinner with his grandfather, and grandfather said all that horrible stuff to him about him being the mad witch's son. You saw Andon's reaction, and yet you're so surprised the next day when he doesn't want to take the Jade because he's so afraid. He's so afraid. Like, how I get that I totally got that Hilo was mad, and I got where his perspective was coming from, especially because of his relationship with his family and how he felt that him and Andon had shared something very important and solidified their bond. But didn't he saw how horrible his grandfather was the night before, and Andon has so much fear. And it's not unfounded fear. It's fear that makes sense, because it's a very good chance that he could become Jade crazed, or itches, or whatever it is.
Yep.
Here's the thing. Like, Shay took off her Jade at one point too.
Yeah.
And is back to wearing it, so I haven't totally lost hope.
I don't think Shay's doing enough. I mean, I like Shay, don't get me wrong, but like for Andon, she's really not been there enough for him. I'm kind of pissed at her. She needs to be doing more. She's not trying hard enough. That kid needs guidance.
Shay's aloof, and she doesn't. That's not really where she thrives. Like, in those like, and necessarily like that. Not a caretaker in that kind of way. Shay does a bunch of this like behind the scenes, like intellectual strategizing, strategizing, like power play kind of moves. Like, yeah.
But
she's definitely meant to be a weatherman.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. But Hilo was not the person that Andon was ever comfortable with. He was comfortable with Lan, and so Shay needed to take that position because she had the same relationship with Lan. So she should see that Andon needs the support, that Lan's not there anymore. Get off your ass, Shay, and support your fucking family.
Yeah, I mean, I think Shay is spoiled, and I think it goes back to being Granddad's favorite, and like,
yeah.
I'm curious to see where all of this goes.
I am too. I'm just disappointed in her because I want more from her. Sorry.
What'd Paige say? I didn't hear what she said.
So curious to see where it's going to go from here.
Oh, yeah. I legit for a second thought that Shay was going to like join up with Mata and like betray her brother, and I really thought she was weighing that out for a second.
I didn't think so, but I could see where it seemed like it could be that way. Sure.
I don't think that like she is all like, I have strong beliefs, I won't betray my family and all of that, but none of her actions actually speak towards that. Like, sorry, some of her actions do, but not all of them. So it is that sort of gray area of, yeah, she says that, but then she doesn't help out Andon. She rejected the Jade. She was Granddad's favorite and wanted to go off and do her own thing. And so she's got all of this, like, I've been outcast from my family because I went to follow my own path, but apparently I'm totally fine to just immediately put Jade on and continue in the family, even though, like, you know, I shouldn't really be that smooth to transition back. Like, I'm just going to go have my little montage of putting on my Power Ranger outfit, you know. So let's just do that.
Power Rangers.
I don't think her transition back would have been that easy if they hadn't like desperately needed her.
I don't think if you do come back, even if it is a desperate situation, there would have been more thought about it, which we didn't see. She definitely was just like, nah, not doing that. Wait, hold up. Yeah, let me put on my
always had it in the back of her mind, you know. Which
makes me curious then if it has been like the Jade's always been calling to her, because I don't trust Jade. Full stop. So like if they're obsessed or, you know, it corrupts them eventually, has that always been sitting in the back of her mind and she's actually more corrupted than Andon would be to putting it back on? Is it actually not safe for her to be having it back on?
I don't know. She seemed to have really good control of herself when she had it on, you know? I don't know.
But maybe. So did Lan originally.
Yeah. Oh, but he got so messed up. And we all thought, you know, everybody was thinking in the Discord that maybe there was something messed up with the Jade. But really, if they get badly hurt and they don't get a chance to heal, it messes with you.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it's a toxic substance.
I never really bought that it had been tampered with. I always just took it as, like you said, he was severely injured and run down. There was like an actual, you know, like injury to his aura. Like almost reminded me of kind of what we experienced like with Paige and the Bone Season kind of thing. Anyway, yeah. And like until that was mended, like it was gonna negatively affect him.
Yeah. Jade's dangerous. Yeah, I don't know. She's just flaky character for me. That's where the roller coaster with her, you know? I think that's my final thought on her. You're saying all this stuff about her, and I agree. But it's like, it's so much like this and this and this and this and this and this.
Maybe that would be needed. I feel like this series is setting us up to not trust a single person. Because I'm just like, well,
I'm curious about like the distrust, like where Wynn is concerned, because I don't know. I don't know why I don't feel anything like in that area. Do you guys think Wynn is not trustworthy?
So there was a lot of conversation about that in the Discord about Wen being non-trustworthy, and I think a lot of it has to do with her family having such a questionable background. Not just her family line, but the relationship her brothers have had with the Mountain in the past. But they were really angry at the Mountain, but it's almost like there still are ties back to the Mountain in some way. So and that probably was around the time that Doru was being really shady and we found out stuff about him. So maybe like taint by time when that came up in the book. You know what I mean? Like you're thinking about, you get more suspicious when you know that one character's super shady. So you start thinking, oh, I don't know if I can trust the other characters. Yeah. Is my guess. Because a lot of people felt that she was. Know.
I think that, like, because she's stone blind, I think we need to have that element of ambiguity because she can choose wherever she wants to go because she does have the capabilities of getting through situations better than others. And so I think it's a strategic choice to leave that sense of strength in her, because I find that she is a very strong character in her own beliefs, but not actually decisive on where she says they fall, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see her as being loyal to Hilo, and I love that she's getting to do this like undercover type role. Like I think that's super fun. I love whenever she like dumped all the raw jade out on the table with all the ashes and like boom.
Well, and I think also because there were a few times where she wasn't very emotional when Hilo was emotional, and it just seemed like she was kind of like
like about the wedding and stuff.
And then she is so ambitious. She is ambitious, and I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think it could be misconstrued. And then I think until we really knew how Hilo formed his relationship with the Make brothers, the Makes.
Oh, I loved the story. Yeah. I loved that part.
I loved that part. I think until we knew that, or at least got a picture of that, it's interesting that this Make family that is so hated by everyone within the clan all of a sudden is in these high positions within the clan. The sister is marrying the Horn, who is going to become the Pillar. Well, we know that, but they didn't know that at the time. And both Make brothers are the highest fists to the Horn. That is pretty impressive considering how people feel about them overall. But so that might come across as but I'm just saying that can come across as being a little suspicious.
This is kind of like found family kind of stuff though. And like, Hilo, like, I don't know, that is one of the things that I really freaking like about him. Like he took these two people that like nobody saw their worth, and like everybody was just gonna badmouth them about like some choices that their family had made like back in the day, and just treat them like complete like outcasts. And he's like, no, these are my new buddies.
So
like we fought it out. Like these are my new buddies. Like we're gonna go. They're my gang now, and you all can just like eat shit. Like
Oh, I agree. I totally agree. I just think it's
that about him.
I know. I just hear you the way you're talking about it. You're like so like.
I feel very passionate about Hilo. Like I'm actually surprised, you guys, that I have this much of all the characters like in that whole book. Like, yeah. I think he's my favorite. I think it's easy to say.
I think it's adorable.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
And I'm only saying that because I could just tell the way your voice changed and the way you were saying when you were trying to defend.
My daughter says my voice changes when I get excited.
I know, it's so cute.
You were just like, I was just being little fangirl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep.
He's definitely the character that grew on me the most. Like, I really came to appreciate him more and more as the book went along. Way more. Like, he's probably the biggest growth for me. It sounds like I have a growth. I mean, like, he's the biggest character growth for me.
Oh my gosh, I just realized we haven't said anything about Barrow.
Mm.
You don't want to talk about it, do you?
No,
Of course I do, but
she's like, I just came down off my rant, my granddad rant.
Shall I throw a little spanner in the works?
A little what?
What?
Hilo was one of my least favorite characters.
Oh, aren't you? Oh, terrible.
I appreciate his character. Mm-hmm. I just cannot stand fuckwits that are driven by emotions that act out in rage.
But he acts out in other ways. He does. But yes, rage is he doesn't control his emotions well.
He has zero emotional regulation, and it pisses me off.
Is that a middle child trait?
Probably. Yes, probably. No, actually, it's supposed to be the youngest.
Oh.
Is zero emotional regulation.
I feel like his emotion, like his passion, is one of the things that makes him my favorite, because I feel like in this like society, in this culture, like I could see where that, you know, these people seem really controlled, and they seem really like official and professional and, you know, customary and like all these different kinds of things. And I think that's what makes him stand out to me, is like, dude feels everything, and I feel that.
Well, I wanted to like Lan.
No, I did like Lan. He is like,
sure. I liked him too. For how long? What, 10 chapters or something like that?
He reminded me so much of the dude off of Cinder.
Kai.
Yeah.
Kai reminded me so much of Kai. Lan totally had that like older like as an older sibling, like he totally had that big brother vibe.
I loved his vibe.
Like, so, you know, calm, level-headed, rational, like
I loved
looking
his
out
vibe.
for everybody's best interests. Like, what was not to like about him? I liked
Which made me so sad when he was on Shine, because I'm like, no, like there needs to be a better solution, because that's what brought us into his death. Like, I love that Fonda Lee is willing to do that, but I was a little pissed because I was like, what the hell? I was
it was hard.
Bam, he's dead. Yeah,
it was hard.
Yeah, it's just rude. But also kind of cool.
And then it happened, like being that Shine like overdose, you know, he knew like after the fact, oh my God, like I shouldn't have took that whole vial. I was only meant to take a half a vial. Like, oh dude.
And then poor Andon, because of that. Like, poor Andon has never he has never recovered from all this stuff. And then all of a sudden at the very end he gets blasted and he doesn't handle things well. And neither does, you know, obviously Hilo's
He's gonna need a minute. He's gonna need to take some space.
Yeah. They seriously need to get better psychologists in this world.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, there were so many times when we were going through all these traumatic things, and we wouldn't go back to Andon, and I'm like, is anyone telling Andon? Does Andon know anything? Is Andon being brought in for any of this? Does he know?
I'm slightly concerned that he's on like Madeira now, or whatever the name of the place is where their mom hangs out. Like, is he going to be hanging out with their mom? Because I don't think she's like the best person to be, you know, she's so detached. She's so...
Paige literally just disappeared.
That was crazy.
Sorry, my internet died.
You were there and then you disappeared. You literally just disappeared.
That was
because my Wi-Fi dropped out, so we lost the live for a second. And I had to.
Really wild.
I was checking the router. Apologies, team.
Wow.
We can't trust Australian internet to save us.
That was just so weird. You just disappeared like a ghost.
You guys all blacked out for me.
Oh, did we?
And so I was like, oh God, I need to go check the router.
You were there on the screen. Like, your screen never left. And then it like your actual body disappeared out of that chair. And
you didn't freeze either.
The next thing we saw was like your leg kind of like walking out of the screen. No, like it was like you just like you're like a jumper or something.
I can't wait to watch that back. Oh God, we broke Amy.
You had
well, cool. That's all right. It's just Australian internet. That it's not unfortunately teleportation. I would love to have figured that out, but no, it is just shitty internet.
Teleportation, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lan was definitely, he was the rock. He was, yeah. I wanted him, I mean, I wanted him to keep being Pillar.
Yeah.
Show us your Jade.
But also they like really made a point, like Lan was a good peacetime pillar, and I think no matter what, I think even if Lan hadn't died, Hilo was still gonna have to step up in some capacity. Like,
yeah, as an amazing horn.
Yeah.
Because that is like I was so upset that Mike ended up being the horn, because he was not creative enough. He was like, when we saw some of the scenes where Hilo really is just showing how much he understands people and understands his own people and cares about his people, I was like, you are the perfect horn, because he knows exactly what needs to be done. He is the perfect support system for his warriors, his fighters. And the fact that we have this Mike Ken guy who just he can't make any decisions on his own. He's not very he's not very, what do you call it, when you take the first step?
Proactive.
I'm like, I'm loving Tar as this, like this spy guy. Loving that
Pillar man role. Yeah,
I love that, but I don't like Mike.
I agree with what like Hilo's thoughts, like toward the end of the book, where like, I think it was after that guy's arms got cut off, and Mike Ken was like, I wouldn't have thought to tell him, like, give it a year, before you decide you don't want to live your life anymore, and Ken was kind of gonna like beat himself up a little bit in that moment, but like it's kind of Hilo made a really good point. Like, Hilo was never meant to be Pillar, Ken was never meant to be Horn, and like it's gonna take time for everybody to like acclimate to their new role, and thankfully like Hilo can still be there, like in a very involved like capacity to make sure everything.
Thank goodness, because Ken's not. He's not selfless enough.
He definitely doesn't understand people like Hilo does. No. So which I just want to there was like one little part that like really stood out to me, and it was whenever at the very end, whenever Shay or Hilo like knew that Shay had gone to meet with Mata, and like she's like, wait, like you knew? And he's like, well, no, I didn't really know, but you just confirmed it for me, kind of thing, Yeah. And he was like, her brother laughed a little. Shay, if you decided to betray me, what could I do? What's the point of life if you can't even trust your own kin? He kicked her foot under the table, a teasing, childish gesture. For you to hand my head over to the mountain, you must really hate me. I must be such a terrible brother that I deserve to die. So there was nothing to be done about it. And like, I was just like,
it's very insightful.
Yeah. I don't know.
I had a lot of empathy for Hilo a lot of the time. I know his reactions weren't great reactions. I guess it's because I work with kids so much. Like, I see reactions that are big, and yet the kids have a lot of, like, you see the other sides of these kids. And I feel like Hilo wants so much love, and he wants so much of that warmth that, he is incredibly emotional. His family is not. Yeah. And I think he's the kind of person who really wants that bond, that connection, and he can't get it from his family. He goes about trying to get it the wrong way, but it's the only way he knows how, because he is just an emotional person. But when I see him interacting with other people who he's allowed to show his care, like how much he cares for them, I really like that. I like seeing, I liked seeing him when he wasn't like, I feel like he reacts in a way when he's afraid of losing a relationship by lashing out, like he does with Shay. Like he lashes out at her because he knows he's like losing that situation with her. But when he feels confident and comfortable, he's a lot more. I don't know. He can be very endearing, and I think that's why for me his character grew quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But the amputation part was the part that I cried. One of the main parts that I cried. It was the main part that I cried. Yeah.
Feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you just kind of like wish Barrow like wasn't even a thing? Like, I love the face you make when I mention his name. Barrow.
I mean, I'm happy he's there. Like he serves a purpose.
And what is that purpose?
Move the story along. He keeps messing with things. He keeps bringing about a lot of our big, not all of our big, but he keeps bringing about a lot of our big not cliffhanging, but a lot of our big.
I guess Barrow was involved in the original assassination attempt on Hilo. Was he? At the very beginning of the book? No?
No.
He was
trying to steal from that guy.
Yeah, petty theft.
But I feel like he brings about, he's our indicator that big things are going to get screwed up.
He was in the restaurant in the very beginning. Yeah.
I mean, he is so awful though as a person and a character.
Human, yeah.
He's a horrible human. He's not even like one of those villains you like to. There's definitely villains where I'm like, I'm fascinated by Mata. Like she's a total bitch. But I think she is fascinating. Whereas Barrow, he's just a little punk. He's a little Weasley punk.
I'm not impressed by Mata.
Oh, I think she's kind of cool, but in a bad way.
I'd happily let her stab me through the ovaries.
Huh?
I see.
I missed that. What'd you say?
I'd happily let her stab me through the ovaries.
Oh, Lordy. What's that even mean?
Can we talk about that? That's something.
She's a boss-ass bitch. Yeah, I can't help it. My ovaries are going to explode on their own anyway, so she might as well enjoy the process.
Oh, that is so funny.
There were a few queer characters in this as well. Hey.
Say it again?
There were a few queer characters in this as well. I can't remember who, though.
Andon, Lot.
Lot, that's the one I was thinking of.
I think that's it, right?
Yeah. But it's still there.
It's still there.
Which I like. I like when it is just... I know that it's not really accepted in their world, though, which you, as a fantasy author, you do make the active choice on that regard. But I like that there is queerness in it. Because I just like queer things in my books.
And Mata is gay?
No.
I don't think so.
Not that we know of.
Well, she's she's too power hungry to be with anyone.
She just cares about her. She's narcissistic. Very narcissistic. I did think it was very interesting, how Lot, I thought Lot and Andon's role reversal was fascinating. How Lot was the one bad-mouthing everything. Andon was the perfect student, number one in his class, doing everything he was supposed to. The very end, they flopped completely switched. Lot is now the perfection, and he took his vows. He's very serious, and obviously it's because of revenge and the family stuff, but he is now what Andon was. And Andon has become what Lot was.
I think we're going to see more of Lot. And I can say he was definitely a character that like I felt for in this story. Like when Hilo like revealed the stuff like about his dad and like about his home life, I was like, oh God. Well, that explains a lot.
Which is funny because Barrow had a pretty shitty upbringing too, but I don't have any sympathy for
How much do we know about that though? I don't know.
it. Talked about how he grew up, so he's Kikanese, and his father died early, or his father was awful. We learned a bit about Barrow at the very beginning about his background, and it was a tragic background, but we have no sympathy for him because he's a Weasley character, whereas with Lot, he still has honor, so we can still feel for him because he had a bad background too. I just think that's an interesting comparing those two characters.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how Lot develops. Like, is he going to become one of the perspectives for the next book?
I think we'll see more of him.
He's not going to be that. Like, we'll hear things that are happening with him, but it'll be from everyone else talking about him.
Oh, that's a good point.
Julius, if you're still here, just eating, enjoy. I did get, speaking of food, I did get a giggle out of the restaurant and the squid.
The squid balls.
Yeah, and that just being like balls. One of the things. It's like, yep, cool. This is the reason I'm taking over this establishment, is because I want to try your balls.
I've heard great things about your crispy squid balls.
Squid balls. I was just like, this is such a random thing, but also
I loved how Gaunt was like, oh yeah, I'm eating them like every day, and I'm like, I wonder how your cholesterol is. Like,
they're delicious. Sorry. Oops.
There's just so much.
I loved the battle scene for Gaunt. Like, that was perfection. I loved that.
Everything. I was physically, like, my body, my muscles, like, in my body were so tense, like, through that whole scene. I had to, like, tell myself, like, relax, like, it's just a book.
Cholesterol.
It's just a book. Yeah, like that's when whenever she could make me feel like that, I was like, okay, well, this is definitely more than a 3-star if she can make me feel like that, even just for 1 or 2 chapters. I don't know, but yeah.
I'm excited for the next couple of books if we get more of that too, especially. Like, it was so good. It was so good. It was done so well.
When he whipped out that, like, band, string of jade and, like, wrapped it around his hand and, like,
go
started
Power Rangers.
Stuffing them out like he did the little mouse in the cage, I don't know. Yeah. Gaunt was kind of hard to take down because of his, like, steel thing, but they did.
Yeah, he was a jerk. He was a jerk. I think Maida, whatever her name is, I think she's fascinating because she just has no compunction about anybody else. Like, she killed how many people to get in her position? Like 6 people to get in her position. All she cares about is what? Like, what does she actually care about? She cares about power.
She kill her adopted father?
No, I thought she killed everybody else, but around him once he died.
Well, it was just unclear to me. I might have to go back and try to find that. But
yeah, that was a good scene. The battle to get the
it was so good.
But yeah, I mean, and it was like, because she was, like, raised that was what she was gonna do. She was gonna take over. She was raised to be, like, the best, like, most powerful green bone at Wylon and everything, and, like, she was being groomed, like, to be the spear of whatever. And then her adopted father, like, didn't have the balls to like actually name her his heir or whatever. And she's like, well, there's not going to be any question about this. Like, we're just going to go ahead and
fix the situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It makes me want to, I'm curious about her because she doesn't do anything aside from this. Like, there's nothing, what is her personality aside from needing to, being ambitious and wanting to kill everybody and kill everything and be in charge? Like, she doesn't have any honor because she's willing to do all these things that the other green bones would not do, because that's, you got to keep the gold separate from the jade. And there are so many, she's not religious, so she doesn't follow the rules that have been set by all of that. So what does she really care about aside from power? Like, there's got to be, is that enough? Like, she just doesn't, it's fascinating, but
Rams. That's all he cared about. He just pretends, whereas she doesn't. She doesn't pretend that there's anything else.
I want to know what her hobbies are. What does she do in her free time?
Sharpen her knives.
I want to get a better picture of her.
She sits there sharpening her knives.
I'm gonna go.
She's got like this whole map, and she's got little figurines that she's whittled herself, and she's moving them around.
I love that. Yes.
Those are her hobbies.
That's amazing.
Is that providing a better picture?
Yeah, it is. Well, I don't even know more about her. That's exactly what she is.
I feel like her favorite books would be like The Art of War,
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, beautiful. Mm-hmm. So if she did read, those would be the things she'd be reading, and probably critiquing them for how much they fucked up throughout.
How she could do it better. Yeah. I am very interested in her, though, because I think that she is short-sighted in ways. She feels like, and especially when she was having that conversation with Shay, she believes she is so right that there is no other way. Nothing else makes any sense whatsoever. And I'm like, that's going to be your downfall. That certainty, that lack of looking outside of the picture is going to be your downfall, I think.
Yay! That, or she's going to have to learn.
Yeah, adapt to. And if she is that much of a strategist, she probably will. She's just like a snake. Nothing wrong with snakes. I think snakes are cool. But just like this focused on one, like there's no emotion there. Except.
Side story, speaking of snakes.
Sorry.
So my dad sent me a picture today of a snake. And he's like, oh, I don't think he saw his shadow. Spring's coming early, whatever, because it's Groundhog Day, right? And I'm like, Dad, that groundhog looks funny. Oh, it was in his shed. Snakes are out.
Yeah. Oh, I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's been getting warm here, for this time of the year. It's not time yet. Yeah, Paige has got all the heat.
It hurts. It hurts me so much. It's a different kind of heat from it you guys get. It's still hot. You understand the heat, but it's a different kind. The Aussie heat is just weird. Anyway, it's 32 degrees at the moment, which is 85. Nope, it's 30 at the moment, with a top of 90 and 94 tomorrow.
That's enough.
That's too much. That is not. I do not survive in this heat. I am a puddle.
So thinking of Barrow, because I think that he is a pivotal character for the story. I think that she is using him as a character to set the trajectory of the story. I really feel like he's a very intentional character for Fonda Lee. And so he starts out getting his jade addiction because of the little amount of jade he stole from that guy. And he, basically what happened to Andon when he got all that jade, kind of the same thing, right? So, and and then he just needed to have Jade. He's just this little Weasley dude. I'm like, what makes you think he's just so he believes he deserves everything, and I can't stand that. You're just a little fish.
Believes in making his own luck.
He's a kindergartner.
Mm.
He thinks he's a big fish in a little pond.
And now he's got poor little Mutt's son.
I know.
Like, he's got his new little sidekick, and they're gonna go and steal Lan's Jade, which just makes me that's upsetting. And then he's got this whole stash of shine, so maybe he's gonna have like a little bit of like a side hustle, but is that like only until it runs out, or
okay, long-term thinking long-term. In the end, it's going to be Hilo versus Aitmata versus Barrow has his own, pillar of his own Greenbone clan, his own make-believe Greenbone clan. Three-way battle.
I don't think Barrow's smart enough to get that far.
Oh, he's an idiot.
No.
But he keeps
forward thinking. He can't. He's an opportunist.
Right. But at the same time, he keeps getting these weird wins,
which is put down to luck.
Yeah, it's put down to luck, but he keeps getting these freaking lucky. He's awful, but he keeps coming back.
He keeps the plot moving.
And makes big.
He just won't die.
I know.
No. I reckon he'll be in the final showdown, but not in the actual battle. He'll be there, though.
Yeah, well, he's not brave enough to be a substantial part of the battle.
He's a cockroach.
He's just going to be the one picking up all the Jade after the final battle.
He actually thinks that he killed Lan.
Yes.
He's convinced himself. He's so dumb.
You look like you're in pain.
It's just
that's a difficult character. Now we talk about it, there's definitely I have a lot of emotions and feelings about different aspects of this book. More than not that I didn't think I did, but I mean, Tara was right. Like on the Discord, she's like, this is a roller coaster. I'm like, yeah, it is. Character-wise and plot-wise. And so I have a lot of feelings.
I'm starting to feel worldwide. Because it is opening up. Because you've got the transactions with the
Did you see my comment about Espenia, being the cavalry and, charging over the hill?
I did love that whole section with Wen going to I thought that was really cool.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was so good, and I love she's just so clever. I don't know. There's part of me that's kind of glad that her and Shay decided to really put her to work and help her to do something useful. She's so clever. She talked with that cab driver guy, and he helped her brush up on her Espenian before she even got there to meet with those military guys, and I don't know.
Imagine Hilo's reaction when he finds out.
He needs to calm his ass down. I'm sorry, because I love Hilo, but when you marry a strong, clever woman who wants to do her part to help her family, you just need to let her.
I agree with you. Hilo is not going to agree with you.
Me and Hilo are going to have words.
And do we now see why Hilo and his misogynistic attitude is one that I don't vibe with?
I do hate that they felt like they had to hide that from him. I definitely do hate that.
You can love a character and then have shitty traits.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just Hilo, I'm that is all I can see. I can't see it as a routine.
Can't see past that.
Yeah. Because of also the way that he responds. He's just a fucking beefhead. I'm listen to smart people for once, you dumb shit.
I don't know. I think he had some brilliant moments. Like he really did grow on me, and I really did see some amazing growth. But with Wen, he's completely blind. Like there's no, yeah. You want to
So
explain,
I
Danielle?
guess I kind of like learned after the fact that they're actually using that as a source of income. Like they're gonna give the Espinians like the raw jade, with like, I don't know, what was that name that they kept using for it? It had like a special name. Anyway, they're gonna give that to them for money. So they're gonna have money to like help support the war effort. I was just thinking it would be super cool if, you know, I don't know if Espenia like has an army, but like they seem like they might have their shit together. I don't know. And they could, you know, it'd be cool if they could fight on like no peak side and
I mean, that's what it's
that
going
was
to come
me
down
getting
to.
ahead of myself. Huh?
But that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to the Yucatans or whatever, however you pronounce that. They're the ones backing the mountain, and now Espenia is backing No Peak. So it's going to become a much bigger war,
Yeah.
a worldwide war sort of thing, because now we've got. So to answer Stacy, when Shay was actually living as a Greenbone when she was still a Greenbone, and she had finished the academy. She got these opportunities to work with some Espenians as like a diplomat. She was doing diplomatic work, and her family, her grandfather especially, thought that she was being giving them family trade secrets and stuff that she wasn't supposed to share with this foreign government, especially after, which makes sense from him, considering he fought this war to keep these countries out. And he felt like she was betraying the Greenbones because she was giving them information. And the information in her mind was strictly diplomatic because she saw that she didn't have the same perspective that her grandfather had. But to her grandfather, she was giving these personal to Kikanese people, personal clan secrets to this foreign government that then maybe they could later use against the clans. At least, and then because of that, they got into a big family fight, and she left, and she took off her jade and went away. But
I thought they
she
got
got
into a
to know
fight
the
because they didn't
Espenians.
like who she was dating.
Well, that was because she got to know. So she first started dating that guy, and then because through him, she started giving more information to the Espenians, which in her mind was all diplomatic information, but in her family's mind, you're giving our secrets to this group of people that could use it against us eventually. And so then their argument was, we don't like your boyfriend. We especially don't like that he is the reason you're giving our information to this foreign government. And so then they got into a big fight. She thought the work she was doing was really important, and they thought, you're screwing us all over. And so then she left with that dude. Because the grandfather when he was still a pillar at that time, went to the Espenians, and not the people that she was giving information to, but like the Espenian government, and said, what are you doing? Why are you asking my granddaughter all this information? You're breaking all these laws with us. And so the Espenian government told the people she was getting the information, like, you need to cut off ties from her. You can't be getting information from her. We'll get into a lot of trouble with these different clans. You're going to mess things up diplomatically with us if you keep trying to find out information. And so then the Espenians cut her off, and she was furious about that. And they sent her boyfriend back to Espenia because they were trying to cut off this relationship that had formed that was causing her to help them, but like not, like it would ultimately hurt the government if they caused a war between and they had agreements and trade agreements and stuff like that. So then the Espenians sent her boyfriend back to Espenia, and so she went with him because she was so mad at her family. Did I explain it okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm done. Your turn.
She got no brain cells.
I didn't mean to stop us.
I was trying to think if there was anything else that I really thought needed to be covered.
I think we've done pretty good.
I was really disappointed in their mother, like finding out her character. That was a character I was disappointed to meet.
I was thinking about her earlier. Yeah, she's yeah. There's just not much going on there, you know? It's just like we've seen that kind of like, I guess, political wife, or like wife of like somebody who's like in power. Like that character's been done. You know what I mean? Where like just really aloof, not a very involved mother, not a very affectionate mother, like just kind of lives in her own little happy world, like doesn't really get invested in any of the goings on, just so long as like her life is cushy. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
I do. And
Is
that
that
from that yeah. And from that perspective, when we saw Shay go back and visit her mom, I was like so disappointed I felt bad for Shay. I'm like, this is not the role model you need, and this is not the kind of support you need. That would be really disappointing.
Well, and she even said at one point, like, I do not want to wind up like my mother, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. She was such a disappointing character. Yeah.
Yeah, what Abby said.
Agree.
Yeah.
Probably because they were raised more by grandpa.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too.
You still want to have present parents, but not if they're going to be shitheads.
Yeah.
And they said they all three like spent a lot of time like finding their own way. Like if they spend, 8 years at the academy, like, that shapes them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can't imagine. I really still, I guess I'm still hung up on Aitmata because I'm thinking about her grandfather and her grandfather's relationship with Granda, and their relationship, and that camaraderie, that love for the other clans, just love for your, maybe not necessarily, I know there's a lot of power aspects of it, but I just thinking about that respect those two people had for each other and how much they depended on their understanding. And then all of a sudden she's like, I want to change everything. Where'd she learn that from? Or is that just that's just her personality?
I don't know. I guess I didn't really think about that. Like,
I feel like she came out of left field.
If they were
I almost could understand it more if she was
together. Well,
I feel like I could understand it more if she was somebody who from outside the group who came in and took over, killed everybody off, came in, took over. But consider she was raised by this guy who loved and cared for as much as they could, considering the limitations, the other pillar. And if he talked as highly as Granda talked about him and all that they created together, she just seems so ruthless. Where'd that come from?
I'd say that would just be a personality. But we might get answers in the next one.
I was going to say, like, do you remember the history of, like, the mountain, like, building power? Like, it just, and, like, I don't know. Were they always, like, two separate entities? Or, like, did they, at one point in time, rule,
they were all
like, all of Kekon, like, together? Or...
Yes and no. Yes and no. When they were battling against the Shotarians, they were all together. There wasn't a separate clan at that point. I remember one of the short stories in here, though, or the little interludes or something like that, though, talking about how they got separated into clans, and it had a lot to do with location, even, I think, or just, wasn't it just like proximity and location? Something like that. I don't remember. There was that one little like 2-page interlude that talked about it. But they weren't meant to be this antagonistic towards each other. That's just progressively got worse over the years, and I feel like it's gotten way worse since Aitmata took over. And so that's maybe why I'm like not understanding her motivation in the same way, considering how she was raised, or I don't know how she was raised exactly, but like, why does she want to change things so much from the way they are intended to be? And it's just opportunistic. That's all I can think. She is just someone who's ruthless and opportunistic.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I maybe I'm just feeling like I haven't got to see enough of her personality, and that's probably because we don't get her perspective.
Yeah, we haven't got that depth to it yet.
I'm not really sure if it was the interlude, because those were like a lot about the gods and like the deities and stuff.
No, you're right. But there was one section where they did talk about it, and I can't remember.
Yeah, I feel like it was pretty early on.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
I lost it.
I do like Shay as a weatherman, though. I think her personality is perfect for that.
I think maybe like one of my issues with Hilo is more because his personality is so catered to being the Horn, and he is the stereotype of that trying to see him in another role just feels inauthentic. Whereas, that's just how characters go. They sometimes are in situations that don't match their personality.
So, yeah, that was a hard transition for me, too.
Mm.
Okay. Is there anything else we forgot?
I'm sure there is, but we can catch it in Jade War.
When we see where things start tying together, too.
And then we're like, oh, yeah, that, massive plot point that we just forgot about in the first live.
Yeah. Oh, how about the Tenben situation with that torture scene? That was so good, too.
Oh, yeah.
It was crunchy. Literally.
What did happen with that?
That was a word choice.
Tenben was
the one that was like the carver or whatever.
He's the first white rabbit. Yeah, white rats rather.
Mm.
He was the white rat for the mountain. He was the carver, and he killed everybody else. And then Tar comes and gets him. And, that was so good. Like, I really like Tar in this spy / this role. He's good. He's scary.
He's like Pillarman 2.0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, loving that. Yeah.
I was trying to find maybe something on the internet about like the history, but I wound up finding this like super cool like graphic thingy. You want to see? Hang on.
Yeah.
I'll show you. Share screen. Look at that.
Sick.
It's probably like, I don't know, Hilo Mata? Or do you think, I can't really tell who's who. I don't think there's like a little caption or anything.
Keep scrolling down.
Is it going to give us spoilers?
This is only supposed to be about the first book.
Oh, okay.
So.
Interesting.
I don't know. I like the pictures though, but I can't tell who's who.
Nope.
Ooh.
That looks like super futuristic.
Looks almost like Aldea. Or
yeah.
Cool.
Very nice.
I am excited to go on to the next one. I can't wait to, now that we know Fonda Lee has no problem shocking that she doesn't have, she's like, I think a lot of authors love their characters, and so they're not willing to hurt them because ultimately the main character has to stick around, right? I think Fonda Lee has no problem getting rid of her characters. She's like, oh, this one, it's perfect timing for you to die. You're dead. You're gone. You're main character. I don't care. You're dead.
I think because she loves her characters, she knows what's best for the story. Because she loves them, she knows how they need to go.
But Lan, we didn't get enough.
I'm excited. I think it'll be good. I'm optimistic.
It's gonna be fun. I'll probably start it.
Especially after our chat and just hearing how everybody's just invested in different ways. I think it's good.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I was led astray, by the way. I just want to have it known that I was hurt deeply because Meredith gifted me this book and said, here's your present page. Thank you for always being so inclusive. I appreciate you so much. I hope you enjoy Jade City, and no pressure, but if you don't like Lan, we can never talk again. Okay, bye. So, excuse me, I'm supposed to like him. He's supposed to stay throughout the entire fucking thing, you bitch.
Yeah. What the heck, Meredith?
That's so good. I just put my shirt on backwards.
Yeah,
I am very happy that we're reading this for BookStara because I think this book is best as a book club book as well.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about. Who is your favorite character then? Paige, you didn't tell us.
I technically don't have one. And it's the highest for me. But because of everyone's shadiness, I love that they're not black and white. So for me, Shay is quite interesting because I'm like, I'm intrigued. I like that she doesn't show all of her cards. So I like characters not necessarily because of who they are, but if I'm intrigued in seeing where they go.
The thing about Shay is I really do think she's super cool whenever she's fighting or whenever she's saying something super smart. But for the most part, we just get that. Yeah, we just get that really intermittently. And so, like you said, Amy, it's kind of like
the roller coaster. Whereas I love that in my characters. Give me that. Ash and I were talking because his coworker came in at 9:00 in the morning yesterday and said, I read this book and it hurt me so deeply, it nearly made me throw up.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh. And Ash is like, I'm not emotionally prepared to deal with this at 9:00 in the fucking morning. Thank you very much for this. And proceeded to tell him what happened in the book because he said he wasn't going to read it. And he went to tell me that afternoon. I was like, do not tell me. No.
Oh, but a different book. Okay.
I was like, do not tell me. I want to read this book. And he's like, I really don't think you should go in not knowing. And I'm like, if I know that I have to emotionally prepare myself for it, we'll see how it shapes up. But it's that harrowing. It's you never know which way is up. You don't know where the roller coaster is going to stop. That makes me so intrigued in books, and the characters that have that as their dynamic just captivate me, because I'm just excited to see if they're going to completely fuck me over and I'm going to end up hating them by the end, which is fine, because if I can feel that emotion towards them, great, you've done a good job. Or end up loving them and or depressed because they're dead.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't know where that's going to end, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because I love my characters being not vague, but three-dimensional, but not always shown the dimensions straight away.
Unpredictable.
Yeah.
So Amy, other than Lan, like, of the characters who are still alive, who is your favorite?
You know, I would have said Andon for a good portion of this, because I really think Andon is become one of my favorite. I'm very intrigued by Shay also. I don't dislike Shay. I get frustrated with her. Off and on I get frustrated with her, but I still think she's a fascinating character, and I think she has a lot of growth. I really started liking Hilo a lot, especially towards the end. You know, I was shocked at how much I started enjoying his character. The Broken Wave. So I don't know. We'll have to see in the next book.
You weren't mentally prepared to have to pick a new favorite, were you?
No.
You were like, yes, I'm in love, I'm good, I'm ready.
I wanted to like Lan. But even Lan was I don't want to say disappointing, because I understand what direction he went in, but his character didn't have the upward movement that you want from that kind of character. He was having a downward movement, which makes sense because she wanted to kill him off, because that was what the story needed. But I started out really liking his character just because I liked, like, there were times when I saw Shay and how she reacted and behaved. Sometimes I saw how Hilo would react and behave, and I'm like, in a pillar position, Lan would have handled this perfectly. And we didn't have that anymore. So that was, I missed that balance that he brought. But
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh.
Rude. Okay, I guess Andon then. There you go.
No!
Tara.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, you can't pick Andon. That's not how this works.
Ike Mata.
Right.
Barrow. Barrow's my favorite.
Yeah, if you pick them, they'll die.
Character.
Okay.
Yeah, Barrow's my favorite. Totally love Barrow. He's just so fascinating, you know, that Weasley character. I love that.
Yeah.
I just felt my uterus just retract slightly.
He's so gross. He's so gross.
Bad. It's so not okay.
He's just, yeah, he's a horrible character. Okay, what am I left to like? Seriously, what are you leaving me with? Okay, Wen. Actually, that whole scene with Wen, I really liked her, but I don't know that she's my favorite character. I think she could become a character I enjoy, as long as she's not doing shady shit.
Which?
Look at Danielle.
Keep an eye on you, Wen.
Yeah.
She's
my kids
cool
sometimes.
with
The kids
me
like,
until she proves she's not cool. Like, it's fine.
Yes.
I just picture Barrow as that squirrel in Ice Age that is just always there and doesn't die.
Oh, that's always
the one with
chasing
the
after
nut.
Yeah. Yeah, he's Weasley. That's perfect. Paige is picturing it too.
The squirrel's done nothing wrong, though. It's just trying to help.
I really like that squirrel, actually. So yeah, I really like his.
I love it.
Determination.
Yeah, and Barrow would have Steve Buscemi's voice.
Yes.
Who now?
Yes, he would.
Steve
Buscemi.
What does he play?
Gosh,
He's,
everything.
What would I don't know what you'd know.
I mean, he was in so many things.
He's Fargo, Con Air, Monsters Inc.
Oh.
He was the that's why, because he was the lizard in Monsters Inc. What's that guy called?
Ralph? Randy.
No.
Randy.
The lizard.
No. Randall. He was Randall in Monsters Inc. Yeah. He was the bad guy in Monsters Inc. But that's how I picture Barrow's voice, Steve Buscemi.
I see that. Yeah.
Here, let me see if I can pull a picture of him.
He's in Spy Kids 2. Spy Kids 2, not Spy Kids 1.
Okay, let's see. Can I do that? Share screen. Oh, come on. Why is...
Oh, I know this guy. But, like...
Nope. I don't need to anymore.
That's definitely not how I picture Barrow.
No, it's the voice.
But, okay.
It's the voice.
It's
yeah. Think of Steve Buscemi's voice. That's how I picture Barrow.
Okay. Actor.
But yeah, like looks-wise, I do picture the little squirrel in Ice Age. Kind of scrawny, kind of a little unkempt.
I don't know. I picture him as like...
Kind of Weasley.
Obviously, it's like more of like a teenager, I think. Is he more of like a teenager?
No.
I thought he was.
Is he? I guess.
I thought
not a teenager the way Anjan's a teenager. How old is Barrow?
Let me see. They probably said it in like the first chapter.
Who would play Barrow in a...
Barrow and Sampa were 16 years old. It's on the very first page of the book. After 3 weeks of planning, they had decided that tonight would change their lives. Barrow wore a waiter's dark pants and a white shirt that clung uncomfortably to his back. His sallow face and chapped lips were stiff from holding in his thoughts. I don't know if it really says much about like his physical appearance.
Ooh. There's Call in. Like they're putting actors that they think. Come on.
Okay.
That's how I picture him. Here's Hilo. Oops, I gotta move the thing. Ah! Sorry. Come on, can you zoom in our favor? Why are you being a jerk?
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes the pictures I make in my head are better than, when they try to like match them up with like an actual, like movie star.
Why won't you show nice?
Anyway, Barrow's only 16. So yeah, I pictured him as like I don't know.
A weasel?
A young Asian teen type person. But like also kind of like with that look of like a troublemaker, Is this Barrow?
Can't tell the difference, can you? Poor weasels. Giving weasels a bad name. Sorry, weasels.
Sorry, my mom called.
Hi, Mom.
Hey.
We were just looking at different possibilities for characters.
And I did find in the book where it said he's 16.
Yeah.
Barrow. 16.
Yeah.
I'll use my fly swatter that has the cactus prongs attached to it.
Oh, geez.
I think... Oh, I would not want to be a teacher and have Barrow in my class.
You? Hard pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass on that.
He learned it?
Not well.
He cannot get learned it.
He would be the one that would be testing me, and I'd be like,
You'd break out your fly swatter with the cactus prongs?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
She's what? Oh,
watching you.
you do the very stern teacher face.
I do have a stern teacher face.
Yeah, you do. You got that?
I've got good teacher face. I've got good teacher voice, too. It doesn't work on kindergartners, oddly enough.
Nope. You got to do the sickly sweet one.
Yeah. Yeah, even first graders. Like, serious stern voice works on first graders and up. Kindergartners are just like, I don't hear you. I can't hear you.
Okay, let's sing a song where I'm going to punch you in the face.
It's just so
Come on,
wild.
children, let's sit in the circle now.
I mean, and it's unfair of me to say, though, because the majority of the kids in that class were wonderful. You know,
100%.
It's just that you have those few, and they're not bad kids. They just, I don't know how, you know,
they require a little more one-on-one than the others.
Yeah. And I had
It reminded me of when I used to teach 3-year-olds. That was awesome.
And yeah, I can't go lower than that. I can't go lower than kindergarten. I don't even want to do kindergarten anymore, to be honest.
That's fair. My friend's on kindy this year. She's so excited. She loves them.
Wow.
See,
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
We're all made to excel at different things.
Yep.
I'm to excel at not teaching.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, if I can get a job at the school that I want to work at, I'd take kindergarten.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right.
It would be different too.
Our own routines.
Yeah, it would be different too. You wouldn't be subbing. You would. Yeah. You would learn each other.
You'd be able to develop those relationships and
It's a big deal with kindergartners. Yeah.
And I think you'd be a fun kindy teacher.
Super
having those routines and having everything in place, you would make it enjoyable to them.
I'm just afraid I'd get bored. I mean, nothing against the curriculum for kindergarten, but I like having the conversations I have with my bigger kids.
The fun, like cutting and pasting you can do.
I know, but I like the conversations I have with my big kids.
Yeah.
So now we're going to draw a 1, start at the top and follow it to the other.
Okay, there's like the loop down here and up around and over the bridge and down around. You're just like, it's not bad. And then it's just different.
Older kids, you're like, so evolution, bitches.
Yeah, let's just talk about like you could talk about anything with them, and the kids know more about politics than I ever knew at their age nowadays because it's a digital world. So these kids know so much, but then there's a lot of stuff they're not knowledgeable on, and so you get to talk to them about that too, like what is real and what is like what should be questioned, should be like it's so fascinating, and the little kids are so cute and they're fun. They are fun. We got to do a lot of dancing and run, jump. When we do go, Danny, go. And they're so cute when we did the yoga too. But I don't know.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. They're cute.
I think I like the little ones.
Yeah, you can have the little ones, and I'll get the big ones.
We're good. Yeah. If for some sheer miracle I got back into teaching, there is no way I'd go for the little ones. I would probably more likely retrain as a high school teacher.
That'd be interesting.
But I don't have to do that, so I don't have to deal with any. And it's great. The PTSD is coming out strong today, apparently. My apologies.
Sorry, I'm bringing all these teacher thoughts, especially because I've been having some rough days. I've been having some rough days, and it's been taking a hit on my self-esteem quite a bit because I was feeling very confident. Not that I thought I was perfect at anything, but like I was feeling very confident with my classroom management. But that's with older kids. And then I get put into kindergarten classes, and I just felt like I had quite a few blows to my self-esteem in the last week and a half because I felt like I had no control.
The lady also couldn't support it.
Sorry?
The lady also couldn't support it. It wasn't just you. And when you have one that literally cannot be controlled, and you have the others welling into that, that's not the consequence of your lack of knowledge or change of strategies. It is purely that is going to happen when you have one that cannot be controlled.
Yeah. No, and I get that. And I'm starting to, and I've had a lot of conversations with not only their teachers, but other teachers. And I'm like, okay, Amy, you didn't fail as much as you felt like you did those days. So
might not have been it might not have even been a good day, but no one died.
No one died. I like that.
Which is always a very positive thing.
It's a big responsibility taking care of people's little kids.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
It definitely could have gone shit up.
Yeah.
You did it.
I didn't lose anybody.
You got through it. You didn't
Nobody
lose
went
anyone.
missing.
No one died. The classroom remained intact. The building was still standing.
It took me 2.5 hours to clean up after that kid.
Yeah, that's fair.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah. But the room was clean. She came back to a clean room. And I didn't have to use the fly swatter with...
Is your cough, better?
It's still there. It's still there.
I was sick all week. I got sick Sunday. And, I went to work sick. Monday through Thursday. Yeah, I'm feeling better. But, for a minute, I was like, is this ever going to go away? I went through so much Kleenexes. I thought my nose was going to fall off.
Yeah, I've finished out my 4th month of not being perfectly healthy still. I'm just not, I want to have a day where I wake up and I'm not congested and I don't have to cough at all. I still have stuff coming out of my lungs. When I cough, I still have stuff that comes up, which means that it's not all better.
Yeah.
So, and that's just, and I think that kind of got me depressed too. January was a bit of a depressing month for me. Stuff with kids was difficult. My self-esteem was, and then just the fact that I'm not 100% still, it's just so frustrating. Because I started getting worse again, and they put me back on prednisone and an inhaler, and I'm off of that now, and I'm better, but it's not gone. It's still not completely gone. And so I'm just, you get tired of that after a while.
It's exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's exhausting being constantly ill.
Oh, I was just thinking, Mia got her license too last week.
Wow.
My daughter got her license. Yeah, that's crazy.
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. Tell her congratulations.
I will. Yeah.
That's so fun. I loved getting my license. I got my license the second I could get it. And we're just on the after hour conversation at this point.
Yeah. Thank you for coming and talking.
We just didn't stop the live. Good to see you, Tracy.
Bye.
Look at me.
Hello. That's so exciting though.
Yeah. And I know things are just going to get better, but I'm just, I think it all just kind of started getting to be too much. And then, whenever you finish something, I finished, so exciting. I got my teaching credentials, I finished, but I think it's always that, I get a little depressed whenever I finish something like that, something big, because it's just a lot of next steps. And sometimes it's not a bad thing, but it's just a change. And
there's also a lot of ambiguity around it as well. You know that you're going to be sub-teaching, but when are you going to be sub-teaching? Where are you going to be sub-teaching? Who are you going to be sub-teaching? When are you going to get a job? It never stops until you manage to get a contract. And that is also exhausting.
Yeah. And I'm not living in an area where there's a lot of job availability for teachers. There's a lot of teachers and not a lot of jobs. And I don't want to move to the places where there's job availability right now. And I'm happy here. I'm not young. I'm 40. I'm liking where I'm living. I like being, close to my mom because she's getting older and it's good for me to be here. And I love this place. I love living here, in Bellingham, in this, and I don't really want to leave. I can see this as a forever home. And so that's hard, though, because this is a place that a lot of people want to live, including a lot of teachers. So, and we have our college here is a teacher college. They have a good teaching program. So a lot of people just want to stay and get teaching jobs in this district.
Yeah. Well,
darn it.
You'll show them who's boss.
I'm just trying to give my best self to everyone and get my name out there, and people are liking me and wanting me to be sub for them and get to know the administrators and the administrator assistants so that they all know me and go, oh, we need to hire somebody. Remember that Amy? I really liked her. She had a good vibe with our school. We're going to hire her.
You just also have to start praying. You start praying for pregnancy, trust me.
For other people.
I really hope everybody gets pregnant. Yeah, that's true.
Put that something in the water, Amy. Put that something in the water.
You're looking good today. You should go home and show your husband what's up. Yep.
And then when I was in the library, it's like, well, these people are a little too old for pregnancy, so let's pray for retirement because the next step's not as pleasant to be praying for.
Yeah, the admin assistant really likes me, and she was like, well, we're just, let's just hope some people retire. And I'm like, I don't think that anybody is old enough to retire. I mean, we have some people who are older, but they're not retirement age yet.
Yeah.
And it's like,
let's just pray somebody wins the lottery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Win the lottery.
That could be me. That would be great.
Yeah, win the lottery. That would be great. No, because I don't want your job. No. It's got to be one of the teachers at the school that I'm at.
I'm fine.
I mean, I wish the lottery on you. I'm sorry. I do.
It's okay. I can handle it. It's fine. I know the teacher is more deserving of it, especially with your American pay system.
I know.
They desperately need it more than I do.
Luckily, I live in a state where we get paid the most, so that's good.
Hey, that is good.
Yeah. Okay, I think we talked all our Jade City out.
Shall we? So March, we will be reading Jade War, and the discussion will be on Danielle's channel, BookStara, which I believe is linked below. If it's not, someone yell at me. But yes. And we will see you then. Thank you everyone for joining. It's time for nap. Bye. Bye. Oh, I didn't hit the button.